we're going to be doing something a bit different today, folks, and that's because Clay has gone and done the one thing we just know they love to do. Talk not only about the most recent Cult of the Lamb / Don't Starve Together crossover event, of course, an event that we ourselves covered in these two videos here, but their future plans for the constant following the influence of this update at that. And that's what caught my attention in this appropriately, quote-unquote, bite-sized interview with Devolver Digital and Massive Monster here. That's what not only gives me pause to perhaps apologize for not giving Clay enough credit when it came to making worthwhile connections to Cult itself, but gives me hope that we're not all crazy. We do indeed need a follower update sooner rather than later. And where exactly does all that stem from, you ask? Well, not the final inquiry about poop, although I gotta give it to Devolver for asking the right questions there, as it's the discussion regarding the additional elements that both developer teams would like to add to their games that should really drive today. Clay goes on to highlight their history with NPC characters and how player interactions with them, say like in a space similar to Don't Starve Hamlet, is a mechanic that they continue to flirt with to this day. And while we may only have Pearl and Wagstaff at this current time, even I predicted that the lamb was maybe going to be an NPC, so the potential and the thoughts from the community and Clay is there. We just gotta see how it all works out and what they act on. But as we continue to Clay's next comments, we hear the words that we were dying to see in action just the other day. Expanded followers. In typical fashion, they don't say much at all. However, they have indeed planted the words update, interaction, and followers in our brains specifically now, so I'm ready for it. Pigmen have been outclassed for way too long. And allow me to make a brief cameo here to kind of just discuss what I mean by that, right? Pigmen have been outclassed, but all followers kind of need a refresh. So if this is the next step, what does it mean? To me, it's kind of simple. Merms are the best example. They have been updated many times. They have different variants. They are far stronger. They are easier to amass because 1 might equal 2 or 3, and Bunnymen and Pigmen just don't really have that. But Bunnymen have the ability to kind of be easier to get as well, which is carrots versus meat, and they're stronger than Pigmen. Right? They kind of just stand and deliver, while Pigmen are the ones running around like crazy people, kind of getting themselves killed. Merms and Pigmen do work, but let's face it, Merms are probably a little better and faster at that, but you are able to get Pigmen a little earlier, so there are pros and cons every which way to Sunday. So what would a follower update truly entail? That said, this is also where we maybe divert. What ties into the Cult of the Lamb stuff? What doesn't? I will say the Cult of the Lamb things first. You added the altar and the temple and the fire pit. Maybe we can sacrifice followers and get temporary buffs. And the better the temple, the longer the buffs last. Right? Cool. And while I don't necessarily agree with this, maybe like follower quests, the increase loyalty, better loyalty, give them more damage here and there, like, yeah, I gotta be honest, that's the tough bits. Expanded followers overall would just have to pull from so many different updates, like even as recent as the Wormwood skill tree. Just more tasks for followers to do. Correct? So once again, it doesn't even have to be that big, but upgrades, more versatility, those are the big things right there. And yeah, tie it into the new stuff so the new stuff actually has more of a reason to exist. Those are my big 3. That's what I got. And while all of that was indeed the meat and potatoes of today's video, I do implore you all to give this brief interview a once over yourself, as it is nice to read about the experience, care, and resulting thought put forth into both games and their newfound relationship with one another. Massive Monster, the developers behind Cult of the Lamb, of course, truly sound enticed by our strange little world, and that all helps in knowing what works and what doesn't as well. And we absolutely saw that in their version of the crossover for sure. But both teams and their games share a passion. They put forth similar mindsets in their work, and they feel how they feel, not how the industry does, and that's important, and it really shows. Memories have been made thanks to both games, and I give all my thanks to both teams for exactly that. Much love for the interviewer Devolver as well. As there you have it, everyone. Not only another way for us to talk about a really small update and what could have been and might still be, but a very happy dive into the lives of those behind some of our favorite games. So I'm glad to have shared something a bit different with y'all today, and thanks for watching. Well wishes to all, praise Ba one last time, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.